President Trump has sought to overturn the trading system that previous American presidents had championed and even created. Now, some of this correction, in fairness, was overdue, but it missed the target by going after countries like Canada, which were not the problem. What President Trump says about Canada is wrong. Our trade surplus does not represent exploitation by Canada of the United States of America. Quite the opposite, in fact. It is the result of us selling very good and very well-priced, in fact, below market priced, raw materials, which America then upgrades and turns into massive profits for its economy. Ironically, U.S. workers gain six-figure salaries, turning our raw meat material into profit to their country, and they owe a big debt of gratitude to politicians and bureaucrats in Canada who have blocked us from building the necessary infrastructure to take those resources to world markets. And let's be clear about another thing. The President's talk of 51st statehood, whether it is a joke or not, is unacceptable. It goes without saying there is zero chance of Canada ever being a part of the United States. We love our country just as Americans, understandably and justifiably, love their country too. And that's why so many Canadians are upset by the President's comments and trade actions, especially considering that Canada and the United States will always be neighbors. Geography is the most permanent factor in international relations. No country can call up a realtor and relocate. And the truth is, we wouldn't want to. The American people are not our adversaries. In fact, survey results demonstrate that Americans overwhelmingly have a favorable view of Canada and consider our two nations to be friends. That goodwill, by the way, may be our most important strategic strength going into these talks. Canada's prosperity and security are inseparable from a stable relationship with the United States. And that is why we should not declare a permanent rupture with our biggest customer and closest neighbor in favor of a strategic partnership for a new world order with Beijing, a regime the Prime Minister himself said was the biggest threat to Canada just a year ago. And we seek no fight with China or its people, who make up a brilliant and extraordinary civilization. But its government and its proxies have kidnapped our citizens, stolen our technology, interfered in our elections, and pushed fentanyl into our streets. Canada should talk and trade where prudent, but never make the mistake of confusing engagement with dependency. China is not a substitute for the United States of America. Canada should pursue diversified trade and global engagement. Conservatives stand in favor of a free trade agreement with India and deeper ties with other countries. But diversification must be grounded in realism. Not all partners are interchangeable. We cannot allow President Trump to distract us from the work we need to do here at home. As Prime Minister Harper recently said, the question for Canada is not how we feel about what the U.S. is doing, but how we adapt. The most effective response to uncertainty is not outrage, it is results. All of these steps, bolstering technological, resource, and military sovereignty to this country, is an effort to make Canada stronger at home so that we have unbreakable leverage abroad, including in our negotiations as we face the review of CUSMA. More leverage puts us in a stronger position to negotiate. Canada has leverage, and we can create more if we make the right moves. What is our leverage? We're already America's second biggest market. We control the biggest share of the hemisphere's airspace and northern approaches. We will have, under our plan, a strategic reserve of energy and critical minerals hosted in Canada under Canadian control, so we can sign an agreement with our American friends that would give them access to those minerals only at commercial prices and only if they keep our relationship tariff-free. We can spend hundreds of billions of dollars on defense and directly link the amount of that money that goes to American firms to continued tariff-free access to the American market for the Canadian economy, paid in installments that only continue as long as the tariffs remain off. We will secure every inch of our Arctic so that we strengthen our position within NORAD, more leverage, an alliance that both of us need for our operational overlapping and our shared threats. Finally, we should leverage our relationship with the American people. We should all be reaching out to American business, unions, media, governors, investors, mayors, civic leaders, and the administration itself as we work to fight for tariff-free trade and security cooperation. We will seek an end to steel, aluminum, and auto tariffs, as well as an end to the softwood lumber tariffs. And today, I am proposing the Conservatives will fight for a tariff-free auto pact with the United States, with shared protections against Chinese imports. In short, here's the deal. We should agree to keep Chinese vehicles out if Americans agree to let Canadian vehicles in. A full exemption to Buy America rules so that our companies can compete on construction projects, and a relaunch of the Keystone XL pipeline. And we should lock all these commitments into law so that it's more difficult for future administrations to change the rules in the middle of the game. The best leverage we have, though, is to be united here at home. All political parties love Canada. The Democrats, Conservatives, and Liberals love it a little differently than the Bloc Québécois, but even they want the best for their constituents. And the best way for us to become unbreakable in our negotiations and our discussions with other countries is to work to be united here at home. And that is why Conservatives are proposing a new all-party committee, a team, a task force that will work together as part of an effort to defend and fight for Canada in the CUSMA review. Let's be clear though, cooperation cannot mean silence. Opposition, the official opposition, has a constitutional and patriotic duty to scrutinize the government and to hold it to account. Abandoning this responsibility would not strengthen Canada, it would weaken it. We will work together where we can. We will oppose where we must, because loyal opposition is not just our job title, it is our national interest. Canada's destiny will never be written in Washington, Beijing, or anywhere else, but by Canadians here at home.